Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In.
Now we're in 19. We're officially in the ruthless aggression era of WrestleMania pay-per-views. Sunday Night Heat, we have Chief Morley and Lance Storm defeating Kane and Rob Van Dam. I really dug that stable when it was Storm, Morley, and William Regal doing the stuff with Eric Bischoff at the time. Cruiserweight title match on the show. First time cruiserweight title match on the show. Matt Hardy defeating Rey Mysterio. Actually, even looking at that runtime, I actually didn't even know how short that match honestly was.
Matt Hardy V1.
V1.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have this
Daredevil, by the way. Let's not forget about that.
This Undertaker clinic right here of Undertaker, which was supposed to be in a tag team match, but wound up being a handicap match against the Big Show and A-Train. We'll definitely hear more about this match here in a little bit, I assume. Trish Stratus defeating Victoria and Jazz triple threat. They really loved those triple threat women's matches back then. You got Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin defeating Chris Benoit and Rhino, and Eddie and Chavo for the SmackDown tag titles, which are now the Raw tag titles.
That was a good match.
It was, yeah. Next up, probably match of the night, Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. Great match. Great build to this match. Then we have Triple H versus Booker T. One of the most divisive matches of all time, because this one here always stirs up the Triple H haters in this one. I do think it would have been a perfect time for Booker T to win it. But it was actually a decent match. But I just remember afterwards just everyone completely crapping on it for the outcome. We have Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon. One of Hogan's best matches, funny enough, with a non-wrestler. Mainly because of the spectacle and storytelling that went into it. Rock versus Steve Austin, and Steve Austin's final match. And then we have Brock Lesnar winning the WWE Championship from Kurt Angle. Many people I know rank this as the best WrestleMania of all time. I know a lot of people that rank this as the best of all time. I don't rank it in the top 5, but I can see, if I had to do a complete list, it would probably be in the top 10, I would say. But yeah, what do you think about this WrestleMania, Pete?
I don't think I watched this one live. I'm not 100%. I know I had a period of time where I fell out of love with wrestling, and I just didn't watch it for about 4 or 5 years. I know I've caught up on it within the last year or two, no doubt. I remember the main event when Brock Lesnar killed himself in that shooting star press. Hogan McMahon was a good match for what it was. You know, a couple of old guys having axie. That was fun. You know, you just said Austin Rock, Stone Cold's last match. It's quite sad to say that it was that long ago. The last time he laced up his boots. I'm not going to say too much about the Taker match. I'll leave that to Mo and James. Because, you know, there's a lot of points on that one. Shawn Michaels Jericho, fantastic match. Triple H Booker T, I remember that being a good match as well. I don't remember the first 2 matches. They don't ring a bell at all to me. The Trish Stratus match, I don't remember that one either. But yeah, like I say, usually it was one of, you know, it was in the top 10. It was a decent Mania, but again, for me, it was 17, wasn't it? That was my, you know, I'm looking at that and then following it with these 2, and I'm like, yeah, they're good, but that one was my favourite. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. What do you think, James?
All right. I enjoyed this pay-per-view, and I'm just looking at the match since now. Matt Hardy was great when he was Cruiserweight champion, Matt version 1, woo, and stuff like that. And Trish defeated Victoria and Jazz again. They was the top women at the time, so that was great. Tag team match was great. Can't not hate Los Guerreros and Team Angle at that time. And I'm going out of order weird because I got matches I want to build up to. Rock defeating Stone Cold was great. It was Rock's time. It was great that he did that. Hogan versus McMahon again. McMahon is going to bump like crazy. It's going to be violent. It's going to be bloody. Can't complain. Triple H versus Booker T. Yeah. Still a mark for Triple H, but I figure Booker T should have won. Should at least get this one for him because of the booking was just. I wasn't gonna say that it was being offensive. Let's go with that. But I'm just saying this is the time when Triple H was getting a little bit obsessed with the WCW World Heavyweight Championship match. We'll call that the obsessed era where I'm not saying he was burying people. Yes,
and he's proving himself by beating WCW
superstars. Yes.
Went from Scott Steiner to Booker T, and then later on to your favorite. And
Oberg, yes, Oberg, yes. So it just didn't like it as much, and to me it felt like it would have been a WrestleMania moment for Booker T. He could have won it, had it for 2 months, and got it back to Triple H. No one would have cared. Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle was a great, awesome match. And the messed up thing is, Pete, I knew he was going to do it. And people, when I was watching, they'd be like, I seen him do it. He did it in OVW. He can actually do it. And then when he did it and fell out of his place, they looked at me like, told you he couldn't do it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He can't do it. Because I can't come back from that. But it was a great match. It was shocking to know that Kurt Angle just recently had neck surgery a month or a couple of weeks before this match, and he did it. And to tell you how crazy he was. And it's just weird because most people don't really talk about this Brock Lesnar match. They talk about the botch, but they don't really talk about this when he won at WrestleMania.
I think he revealed that recently, though. Was it well known?
Yeah.
Like, I feel I read about Kurt Angle saying that like a month ago or so, maybe less.
Yeah, because they didn't know if they was going to have the match or not. It was the whole build up to like they was not going to have this as the main event.
That's why they were going to have his match earlier. That's where they switched out his brother for him.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this was a bad match, gentlemen. Okay, the Undertaker thing. It's just like, why did this match even happen? Okay, and I get they were trying to push Nathan Jones and give him the rub because that's what you do. But you don't build that up, and then you're like, you know what, Nathan? You got beat up backstage. So now it's going to be Undertaker versus A-Train in the Big Show. Okay. And then you have the match. And I remember it clearly, and I just still shake my head at it. Because then they coming out there, and here's Nathan Jones like, yeah, I'm okay. And I do my little roundhouse kick, and that's it. And I'm just like, why even bother with Undertaker with this? Okay, why y'all bother this? Okay.
Limp Bizkit, it was in this Mania, wasn't that?
Yes.
Yeah, he did the entrance. Fred Durst. Yeah, it was.
I know. I'm like, why y'all bothering the man with this? Okay, he could have just took the night off. Okay.
And have another WrestleMania 2000 on our hands? No, sir.
Well, he could have just interfered in the Hogan versus Vince match and beat up Hogan for Vince or something.
Well, he was babyface at the time, so he wouldn't have done. He wouldn't have helped.
Well, he can help. He'll help Hogan. Something they'll make us trust me better than what he was doing now.
I'd rather have him. Yeah, I mean, actually, I would rather have had a match like this than not be on the card, because if you would have had a Mania without Taker on a match when he was still like one of the main guys, like people would have been like flipping their shit at that one. But I think doing a one-on-one,
especially after they just galvanized the streak a year before. So
yeah.
You know what? They could have just had Big Show versus A-Train then. What happened to Nathan Jones? Undertaker get
Big
back
Show
and
versus
knock out
A-Train?
Big Show. Undertaker, hey, just let it have a match. Let him win.
We we can't not have the Undertaker on the show, so let's have Big Show versus A-Train. It makes sense.
No. Me, Undertaker versus. Sorry, Undertaker versus
Big
A-Train.
Show or
Yeah.
A-Train.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, there you go.
I would have liked the Big Show an Undertaker versus A-Train. I mean, like, who doesn't want another Kamala thing on it?
Exactly.
Not saying anything. I'm a fan of A-Train, but it would have been the same theatrics going into it.
Exactly, that's all. But that's how I felt about it. I'm just like, why even bother with this match? And you know, Pete is bad when it's like very early in the They're like, yeah, we okay. It's the Undertaker. We're gonna have him real early so you don't get pissed off. But Master Heated might have a different take on it. So, what did you think?
Okay, I'll tackle this right now while it's hot. And then I'll go back to the rest of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was like a booking nightmare because, first of all, this match scared the hell out of me because I thought every turn they had building up to this, I thought the stars were aligned for Taker to lose at WrestleMania because they first introduced Nathan Jones. And then he says he has his eye on The Undertaker. And I'm thinking, shit, it's going to be Undertaker versus Nathan Jones. And he just came in. He's going to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for some reason they were going to go in that direction. But they thought, well, Nathan is not ready yet. How about we just stick him in a tag team match? Which I'm going to say this now. Having Undertaker as a tag team match at WrestleMania is a freaking insult. The hell is wrong with you?
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a head scratcher, but I think, as far as how they booked themselves into a corner with this match, taking Nathan Jones out of this match so The Undertaker beats two guys instead of one guy, is honestly the best. How could it the best walk back or the best solution to a problem that they created for themselves that they could have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could.
Not to say that this match, did not still scare the shit out of me because I thought, well, Nathan's not in this match. When he hit A-Train with that big boot, I thought that was going to be a disqualification, and then we're going to go from there, Undertaker versus Jones, because he cost him his streak. But thankfully, that didn't happen. Yeah, it would have been more logical, but it did not happen.
And you have to agree with me. When Undertaker does tag teams, and it's not Kane, it's usually the top star or someone he's giving a rub to. That's what the thing was. Like, of all people you team up, Nathan Jones. The whole thing like that. You think of Stone Cold, The Rock, Mankind. You think, because it's The Undertaker here, his star presence. I wouldn't mind seeing The Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy. Now, that would make sense like that. But you don't really team him up with low-tier people because you just think, why? Why is he bothered with this? That's all.
Yeah.
Usually,
But then again, that's biker Undertaker, so you could get away with things you cannot get with it because, this Taker is down to earth. This Taker can openly say he's helping the younger talent. This Taker can, but if it would have been the original Deadman, it would have been like, can you imagine like the Undertaker a year later going in and I am taking Nathan Jones under my wing.
I know. Yeah, so that's it. You're just so used to that.
Yeah, so like this guy is more human, so you can get as much as you can get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, the match itself was fun. I guess it is what it is.
Oh yeah, it was short and sweet.
Yeah, it's because it actually, for a match that wasn't that hyped, it got the crowd really hot because Undertaker, almost won that match in the first 30 seconds or so, where he, knocked Big Show off the apron, and I can't remember, was it a chokeslam or was it a big boot, and he just went for the cover on A-Train, and
I think it was a big boot.
Yeah, probably a big boot.
And they had it in the right place. It was the second match of the night, so you get your Undertaker in there. And it was 10 minutes, so yeah.
And this
so Mohamed was like,
yeah. Actually, this one I read the results before I actually watched it because, I was in college then, and there was no access to watching this. So I was like, I would always go on the internet the next day. Okay, what happened? And this was the match But actually, when I did read it, I was like, okay, Taker wins. Whatever happens. And this is one of those WrestleMania where they clustered all the, the marquee matches right behind each other. No breathers between the big five, if you count Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, actually. Then I'm going to say, the look of this WrestleMania, the Safeco field, amazing.
It looks fantastic. It's one of the best looking manias.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a baseball field, right? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Seattle, yes.
Yeah, I'll say between this and the 2 Royal Rumbles they had, baseball fields make probably for the most visually pleasing looking venues for wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, and not to interject, I forgot. Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels was one of my favorite matches. Loved the build. I loved them both. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Shawn had to go
over.
Match,
great build.
Yeah. Shawn had to go over, but I really wish Chris won. But yeah, I forgot to talk about that. But I love that match. It was great and stuff like that. Go ahead, Matthew. I just want to.
And this is the match where Shawn Michaels goes for the cannon on each on the ramp, and some of them hit, some of them miss. There you go, callback. See, I was going for something with that Chinese thing, Joe.
Of course, we got you.
Can I stay on the pod now?
Yes.
Please?
Well, we need you.
Yeah, I suppose so.
No, you have to retire after WrestleMania 36. When we get to 36, you got to properly retire.
Yeah, as long as it happens at Survivor Series, I'm okay.
Okay.
But anyway, I remember watching this, and Shawn Michaels started this whole getting down on his knees and thanking the Lord on his entrance, which is an amazing thing. Honestly, it's an amazing visual. Mm-hmm. It's better than him doing the Shawn Michaels pose on the ramp and inside the ring, which is kind of redundant. So changing it up.
Didn't he say at one point that he stopped doing the whole going down on his doing that because he couldn't get back up or somewhere because his knees were fucked?
Joked about it, but
I thought it was legit when he said that. Oh, sorry.
He does it. He does it in the ring though. He doesn't do it on the entrance ramp. Honestly, getting down on your knees on the entrance ramp, I think, is worse for your knees than doing it Michael's pose.
You have to realize, Shawn Michaels a character. He always blows up when he gets in the ring, for God's sakes. He always said he's blowing up when he goes in the ring.
Yeah, every time he does the DX thing and he starts running around Triple H, you think this guy's winded already.
Exactly.
I mean, it's probably by design. He does the winded run on purpose, but still he looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a great match. Rey Mysterio versus Matt Hardy was awesome, honestly. You would think this was Rey Mysterio's time, but Matt Hardy winning at least extended it a little bit. It was, I think the first half of this show was all, just the setup. It was all going into, we still got Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Hogan, Austin and Rock, Lesnar coming up, so And to piggyback on what you said, James, about Triple H versus Booker T, you cannot build the storyline like this and not have the protagonist prevail in the end. It's honestly, if they would have went another way with just Booker T's and the challenger and Triple H is the champion, but Triple H had to, let's be honest, there were racial undertones to the whole thing.
Yes, it was.
Yes. So you're kind of like, the not so racist, the racist but not really racist white guy won in the end. And there wasn't a follow-up to it, so you're like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And he screwed him twice too. So let's remember that he screwed him twice because even the King Booker thing, he got back at him.
yeah, like the King Booker thing was, oh god.
Yeah.
It was like I was watching it. Honestly, it's one of my favorite returns for Triple H, but still, it was like poor Booker got shafted. Like
exactly.
Which, and that weight after that, like he hit him with that pedigree, and then it took him 10 seconds to get to the pin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
But he
remember
was-
that, and I remember someone asked him in an interview. I think it might have been WWE.com or someone, and they were doing the whole, like it's not actually kayfabe. We go behind the scenes on these things a little bit, and they asked him, "Do you think you look? You made look? And you did cover him right away after the pedigree?" And his snarky answer was, "Ask Booker if I made him look weak or not."
He is the game.
Yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Booker probably covered this in his podcast, but I don't know what his stance is on this match. So we'll just leave it at that. Hogan versus Mr. McMahon. Now that is one of the most infamous visuals in WrestleMania history. The creeping up with the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And Taz just saying, "Here's Vince." Was awesome. Yeah, Hogan versus McMahon was, God, it was so good. And I love that Hogan came out to Real American too, as per the WWE Network. He didn't use Voodoo Child, even though
the network edits for Ruthless Aggression era is so odd. Is Limp Bizkit still on it on the network?
No,
Or is that
I
also-
think they changed it.
the
They
live
changed it.
The live performance
Oh,
is
wow.
on it. The live performance is on it, I think, but it goes into you're gonna pay when he wins.
Ah.
So we're also, by the way, speaking of Limp Bizkit, Crack Addict was a good song.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
Crack Addict was made specifically for WrestleMania because I don't think it got an LP or it was released on any albums or anything else.
Yeah, the
I'm sure it was
performance
on one
that
of
they
their
did was
albums.
great too for it.
Yeah, both of them honestly, like that
Mhm.
one, and I honestly marked out when he got the dancing guys from the rolling video.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, this was good. And I didn't get to mark out about this entrance for The Undertaker, so bear with me. Also, once again, I love it when it happens during a live entrance and the wrestler comes out because you feel like people are hyped up by the music, but the energy just goes that much higher when the
Mhm.
wrestler actually makes his appearance. And that happened for The Undertaker as well when the video on the background was Limp Bizkit's music video of rolling, and then and then it changed into The Undertaker's video, and then he comes out with the motorcycle through, and the two dancing guys, like, oh, we gotta get out of here. There's a wrestler coming.
Do you remember one of the old SmackDown games where you could actually play as Fred Durst?
Yeah, it's a hidden
Yeah.
character. Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he had his red hat on. He'd come out in the car. Oh, rolling.
Oh God, now I remember that now.
Yeah. How times have changed.
Was he any good in the game though?
Yeah, he was like a high flyer kind of character.
Yeah.
He was alright. Fun.
Yeah, okay. Austin and Rock, again, for me personally, it's not their best match together. It doesn't mean that it's a flawed match by any means. It's a perfect match. But then again, it was what it needed to be. It was a finale, and like Rock says, in Hollywood, Act 1, Act 2 don't matter. Everyone remembers Act 3. Speaking of which, Rock's promos pre-matches at WrestleMania,
Mm-hmm.
amazing. We didn't. I'm just gonna go back to WrestleMania 18 for just a second. That his pre-match promo with Hogan was one of the best things I've ever watched.
Oh yeah.
Like when he said, "You're gonna hear, you will," and he throws a shot. Smell what? Oh my God! I get goosebumps.
I liked all this one, and I like 20. I like the 20 when he's going backstage
Yeah.
New York and saw all the
Yeah.
legends and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 was amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
But Rock's heel character in 2003 is underrated as fuck.
Oh hell yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's some of his best work, honestly, and no one talks about it. It got Hurricane over. It got Goldberg over. Sorry, James.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
It
It's a
even
rock.
got Booker T. Oh, Booker T eliminating him and then beating him the next week. That was huge for Booker.
Mm.
and then he got squashed by Triple H, but that's another. And honestly, the build between Lesnar and Angle was also one of their most unique main event builds ever, because it's actually fitting for WrestleMania that that the main match is about the championship, and it's about nothing else but the championship. It's about each one wants to prove they're better, but that's what the championship stands for. And even though Angle did a lot of underhanded tactics coming up to it, it was a good match. And the fact that there were no shenanigans, there was no Team Angle, there was no doppelgangers, it was just settled in the ring, was a perfect ending to it. And yeah, it's like you said, a lot of people say that this might be the best WrestleMania of all time, and I think an argument can be made. It's from the look, from the opening video to the look to the matchups themselves happening in it to it. There is a pretty good case for it being one of the best. I don't think it's the best personally, but it's up there.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In. If you like that video, please subscribe to our channel for more content from the Drive-In. For full episodes of our podcast, please look us up on Anchor.fm or Spotify. Just search for Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In. Please leave us a comment and a like. Tell us how you feel about us, how you feel about the topic we discussed, how you feel about anything. The world's your oyster. Go nuts. And if it's not too much trouble, please help us out here. Share. Spread the word. Thank you. We love you. Bye.